First of all, let me welcome you to this webinar aiming to present the national conditions for participation for the Cypriot organizations wishing to participate in the key digital technologies CHIPS joint undertaking calls. The webinar will be recorded, and both the presentation and the recording will be available in our website after the end of the webinar. You may have the opportunity to post any relevant questions in the Q&A session in the webinar through the Zoom platform. So let me introduce myself. I am Marinos Portokalidis. I'm a scientific officer in the Research and Innovation Foundation in the Funding Programs Department. And I am responsible for the European Partnership Key Digital Technologies CHIPS joint undertaking. This partnership originally was named as Key Digital Technologies, but it has been renamed recently into CHIPS joint undertaking. In the next slides, I will be referring to the partnership as CHIPS JU. However, kindly note that this is this undertaking refers also to the previous partnership. Therefore, you will have some definitions or mentions in the key digital technologies name. So let me start with a brief description of the partnership and its activities. This is a public-private partnership supported by the European Commission. The participating states that have allocated funding resources for the implementation of the projects, and 3 European industry associations. The partnership aims to maintain the technological forefront in Europe as far as the European electronics components and systems industry, and aims to contribute in boosting the competitiveness of the EU by providing through the funding projects these essential components, software and infrastructure in the referred area. For the implementation of the partnership's activities, the European Commission announces annual work programs under Horizon Europe program, and more specifically Cluster 4. And these annual work programs foresee the implementation of large-scale research and innovation projects, which are implemented by transnational consortia consisting around 25 to 50 participants per project, and with a project budget of around 15 to 50 million euros. So the CHIPS JU calls cover research and innovation actions and innovation actions. And there are some general calls that are horizontal, covering all areas which are described in the European Components and Systems Strategic Research Agenda for 2024. And there are some specific calls on specific focus topics. So basically, through this program, the Commission provides direct funding to the project participants up to one level, and the other part is covered by the national contributions. I will refer to the funding specificities of the program in the next slides. For 2024, the Commission has announced 5 calls for proposals. There are 3 calls which are innovation actions, and 2 calls which are research and innovation actions. For this specific EU code, the Research and Innovation Foundation has announced 3 calls to allow and to cover the participation of Cypriot participants in projects to be implemented under the CHIPS JU calls for 2024. In general, in order to cover the participation of Cypriot organizations in these CHIPS JU calls, the Research Innovation Foundation has announced its national funding scheme, which provides the conditions for participation of the Cypriot organization. And this scheme is the European Partnerships Key Digital Technologies Program. The national program has a budget of 3 million euros for the whole period, programming period 21-27. And as I mentioned, in order to cover the participation of CY organizations in the current calls, we have announced 3 calls for proposals. The first call, as you can see it in the slide, covers the participation in the general call for the innovation action. The second CY call covers the participation in the focus topics for the innovation actions, the next 2 EU calls. And the third national call covers the participation in the both calls for the recent innovation actions, the general call and the focus topic. The budget for the CY calls for 2024 is 2 million euros, and the maximum funding per project for the Cypriot partner is 500,000. So we will be able to fund a maximum of 4 projects according to the 2024 calls. As I mentioned, EU provides direct funding to the beneficiaries, and the other part is covered by national contributions and the self-contributions by the participants. So there are some specific funding rates for the national and the EU contribution, which will be explained later on. So the deadlines for 2024 is the 14th of May 2024 for a proposal outline from the international consortium, and a full proposal on September 17. This refers to the proposal outlines that will be successful and will be able to proceed to the second stage. Cypriot organization should have also to submit a national proposal in RIF, and the deadline to submit these proposals is the 21st of May 2024. I will refer to the specific conditions regarding the submission of proposals later on. So what that each country has its own rule for participation. There are some general rules for participation which are similar to the Horizon Europe rules regarding the international consortia. However, each participant, in order to receive funding from national resources, should have to comply with the respective national funding rules of its country. So participants from Cyprus should comply with the conditions set by the RIF in our national programs in order to be able to participate in these CHIPS JU calls. So the general conditions for participation are the ones that you can see in the slide. The host organization for the Cypriot consortium could be an enterprise, a research organization, or another private or public organization. And other organizations, research organizations, enterprises, and other private or public organizations may participate as partner organizations. We are talking about the Cypriot consortium. So there should have to be a host organization which submits the proposal on behalf of all Cypriot participants, and there could be some partner organizations that participate in the local consortium. In general, the maximum number of organizations in the Cypriot consortium is 3 organizations. So in an international project, the maximum participation of CY organizations in each project is 3. Regarding larger enterprises, their participation is only permitted when an SME, a small and medium enterprise, is also participating in the Cypriot consortium. These calls fund cover the participation of ongoing productive enterprises that have sales and turnover, and therefore the participation of startups is only allowed when these startups has already entered the market and have a record for sales and turnover and audited financial statements for at least 2 years. Since our budget is restricted and we cannot fund more than 4 projects, 6 projects in general for the programming period. So we have imposed a restriction that each enterprise may receive funding from the RIF for a maximum of 2 projects in the frame of this program during 2021 to 27 period. For innovation actions, where we cover experimental development activities that are more close to the market, the participation of a small and medium enterprises in the Cypriot consortium is mandatory, and at least 30% of the Cypriot consortium's participant budget should be allocated to enterprises. Well, regarding the eligibility of activities and costs, for innovation actions, eligible activities are experimental development activities, and for research and innovation actions, eligible activities are only industrial research activities. And the related eligible costs are personnel costs, depreciation of instruments and equipment requested for the research activity, costs for external services, costs for traveling abroad, consumables, other specific costs related to the research activities but are not covered by the activities mentioned so far, and overheads up to 20% of the direct costs. Regarding the personnel costs, all beneficiaries that have not previously participated in the restart in the RIF's restart programs before should use the simplified cost method standard scale of unit cost in order to calculate the personnel cost. There is a table in our work program document with eligible unit cost per person depending on its category and the level of expertise. So let's speak about the funding rates which were mentioned before. You can see in the slide that if we go to the orange table below, the European Commission provides funding up to a specific rate for the participation of an organization in a project. So if we take the first call, the innovation action, and let's say that we have the participation of a small enterprise, that means this enterprise will receive 30% of its total budget funding by the Commission. So the rest 70% will be covered by national contributions and self-contributions. So for small enterprises, for experimental development activities, for the participation in the call 1, you can see that the national contribution, it's also 30%, and that means that the total funding to be received from EU and national resources is 60%. So the rest 40% should be provided by self-resources by these small enterprises. This is just an example. You can see that research organization or public bodies are covered 100% because they receive 35% from the Commission and 65% by national resources. So the key point here is that you get a specific funding rate by the European Commission, direct funding to the company or the organization. There is another funding provided by the RIF through national resources covering another funding percentage. And in the case of enterprises, the rest should be covered by self-funding. Regarding the proposal submission, as far as the transnational proposal, this should be submitted through the funding and tenders platform of the EU by the transnational project coordinator. So the international proposals are submitted centrally to the European Commission. The Cypriot participant participating in an international proposal should also submit a proposal to the RIF in order to secure the national funding contribution. And this proposal should be submitted by the coordinator of the Cypriot consortium, which is the host organization of the consortium. All organizations wishing to submit a proposal should be registered in advance in our IRIS portal, our proposal submission and project monitoring system. And they will be able to submit their proposal online through this portal. The RIF has access to the transnational proposal submitted centrally to the EU, and therefore the national proposal includes only general information regarding this transnational proposal and the general consortium, and focuses mainly on the detailed budget of the partners participating in the Cypriot consortium. Overall, the proposal that should be submitted in the RIF should include the Part A, which is completed, which is filled in online in the IRIS portal and contains general information in the budget. And some specific annexes that are described in the call for proposals. And these are the smart specialization sectors table in order to select the priority sector of the national smart specialization strategy that the proposal is applied to, and the audited financial statements of the host organization for the previous financial year or the year preceding if the previous financial year is not available. And these refer only to organizations that have not undergone a financial viability check by the RIF in the frame of previous contract preparation, and who do not have a valid financial viability check result. So private organizations that do not have a valid financial viability check result by the RIF should submit their audited financial statements. The valuation is done centrally by the CHIPS JU office. And the funding decision is taken following the completion of the scientific evaluation. It's taken centrally with the contribution of the participating countries and taking into account the available budget each country can allocate to these successful products. Regarding the timeline of the evaluation and the start of the projects, the evaluation is expected to be completed 5 months after the submission deadline. So it's early 2025. And the maximum timeline for the contract preparation agreements and the project start is around 8 months from the submission deadline. So if we take into account that the deadline is on for full proposals on September, we expect the projects to start and the contracts to be signed with the successful participants at the end of March 2025. So there is a lot of information online. Participants may have access to information through the CHIPS Joint Undertaking website. There is a specific description, a specific documents for its call, which is uploaded on the CHIPS JU website. You can see the links on the slides. As I mentioned, we will share the slides later on. And regarding the general participation in the call, participants may contact directly the CHIPS Joint Undertaking Office at the email provided in the slide. And in the case that you need any clarifications or you have specific inquiries regarding the national conditions for participation, you may contact the RIF at the email you see in the slide, and more specifically, the Research and Innovation Foundation's support service. What is really important for you is that the CHIPS JU has a dedicated platform, is the ECS collaboration tool platform, where you may post, let's say, any ideas for projects to be implemented, or you may find any projects requesting for additional partners. So you are encouraged to go through this platform, create a profile, and have access in these ideas, looking for partners in order maybe to join some projects. So in this platform, as I mentioned, you can create a project idea, you can look for a partner, or you can look for other project ideas, and so on. Through the funding and tenders portal of the EU, of the Horizon Europe, if you go to there to have access to the international call documents, there is a specific session where you can find, for each call, where you can find some expertise offers or expertise requests. So this will also allow you to maybe identify some partners or join some projects looking for partners. Further to the opportunities to identify possible partners mentioned before, the RIF, through the Enterprise Europe Network project, which is a business support center for SMEs, may also support you to identify potential partners. And more specifically, there is an online database with business opportunities where you can search partners according to specific criteria you set. Or you may upload your own profile. Could be a research and development request in order to identify partners for these calls. And these profiles are uploaded online. They are anonymous, and you may upload your business or project idea. And if other partners from abroad are interested, the national EN consultants are involved in the partnering process, and basically the matching is done through the EN consultants. So if you need any support in creating a partnership profile, please inform us, and we will work together to generate these profiles. So if you have any specific questions, you can post it directly in the Q&A session here. Please go through the IRIS portal, go through the call documents. There is a detailed description of the national conditions for participation. And if you need any support, please contact the RIF support service to resolve your inquiries. As I mentioned, the presentation will be uploaded in our website. So all the links are on the presentation. So you can follow the links. So there are links to the international calls. I will insert the links to the national calls as well. And there are also links to the IRIS portal, the funding and tenders platform, and the links for the JU, the CHIPS JU undertaking website and documentation, and the emails to receive support. So are there any questions? So since there are not any questions, I will mention again, please go through the call documents to familiarize yourself with the conditions for participation. You can have access to the topics covered by each call. As I mentioned, there are 2 general calls covering a broad variety of topics, and there are some specific topics covering specific areas. Please familiarize yourself with the conditions and the topics. And again, if you have any further inquiries, please contact us for support. So thank you very much for your participation and have a nice day.